pain and pressure out there, and it's real in people's lives.
You're in a position to help in terms of, you know how to price assets. I mean, having been at Goldman Sachs, do you talk to the administration? Have you talked to Tim Geithner? You were almost Treasury Secretary, or at least you were one. Well, you were one of the names. We perpetuated that rumor here.
Thank you. Helped for a little while with that. My mother loved it.
But you know what these guys are trying to do, and a lot of people were disappointed the other day that there weren't more details. Can it be done, and does it just take time? How would you price these assets?
I believe you have to let market rates set. I mean, I'm not into saying we ought to cover up what the real prices are. If we don't actually get to real prices on balance sheets, investors are going to say, well, this is only half a loaf. They're never going to be satisfied with the balance sheet.
Can the government subsidize it so that you get to what is a market price given the low financing the government can provide?
That is what they are trying.
Can they do it?
Yes.
Why didn't we have a better idea what they were going to do the other day?
Well, I think that there's a tension between getting to where the market would clear today versus this idea that, it'll cash flow out over a period of time. But the fact is that the marketplace is not going to give people credit for what their balance sheet looks like until they know what it's marked.
And what about mark-to-market?
That means mark-to-market accounting,
What about
right?
mark-to-market?
Well,
I've
lived with that for the 30 years that I was in the business, and so I think that as painful as it is, we ought to keep it.
Ought to keep it.
Well,
you've been a senator. You've been in a hearing and asked questions of attendees. When you looked at yesterday's action, can you help us understand what's going through? I know it's the House. What are they trying to accomplish when they bring these guys in front of them, these banks?
Well, first of all, the House committees are very big. They have 45 or 50 people.
72.
72, whatever the number is. So you're going to get a wide range of points of view that come there. People represent different districts where, the world looks worse or better in certain circumstances. And so you can get a lot of different hot button behavior coming out of that. In the Senate, I generally saw thoughtful questions. Sometimes, it's politics, so people will use their moment in the sun to rant and rave.
No.
Joe?
No.
I've never seen anybody on this show ever use their moment in the sun to rant and rave.
I know. And at least they were elected by someone. I know. I wasn't even elected by anyone. And yeah, you're right. Okay. Touché.
But it is a necessary part of democracy. And if people think that there aren't folks out in hustings that aren't asking the questions that those folks are asking, they may make it a little more articulate. They may be a little more
the people
general.
out in hustings are probably a little more articulate. I agree.
Sometimes. I've done some town hall meetings where it gets pretty tough.
I bet it does.
You saw some of the ones that Barack did this week, or President Obama, and it is democracy requires that the voice of the people get heard, and that's what you're seeing in the House.
Governor, very quickly, you talked about how tax revenues are dropping at double-digit rates. Is that rate of decrease, is it increasing?
Year over year.
Is it rising, though, or is it slowing down?
Each month.
I guess by rising, I mean dropping.
It's going, our revenues are going down relative to a year ago collections. In each month that we've seen, particularly since October, where it's picked up speed.
And those declines are growing? It's faster and faster.
It was, if I'd been using the same phraseology, I would have said 8 or 9% in November. It's now 11, 12% in some of the categories now. And we're having refunds as opposed to collections on income tax. And so this is going to be a challenging time for not just New Jersey. This is a nationwide issue, and you're going to see some shocking numbers. Aside from what happened with the Recovery and Reinvestment Program, you're going to see some shocking numbers on the federal deficit this year.
The entire sewer drainage system in Millburn is woefully
And
inadequate.
how about
They're
that
too
pothole on the Palisades?
They're too
You saw.
small. We need an extra easy. No, but seriously, they are too small. This is shovel. I've got a
It's shovel
I've got a
ready.
shovel-ready plan for
And
you.
you want me out there with a shovel.
We need to get
right?
Joe a
home.
shovel.
Close to home.
Listen, there is money for sewers
Can
and
I call
water
Milburn?
projects.
Can I call the engineer and tell him I spoke to you today?
Just
governor
move
said.
it on.
Yeah.
Move it. Go for it.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Richard, have fun with these guys.
Yes.
Oh, they're fun.
fired up today.
They're always fun.
Well, you
They're a lot
come
of
in.
fun.
You were a senator. You were at Goldman Sachs. You're a governor. I mean, we can throw
Covers
anything
all
at
the
you.
bases.
Got it all.
Exactly. You're a Renaissance man.
Thanks for having
Governor,
me.
thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Good to see you.